Yo, what's up, guys? So, please don't mind me. I'm dusty as can be. We're busy getting back down to metal on one of the triple threes. But while I'm busy there, we're actually ready to assemble the Zenova red car that came in. So, what we've chosen to do is instead of putting the car together first and then getting the motor and stuff in, we're gonna assemble the vehicle with the fenders off, with the doors off, and everything else off so long. So what we can do is basically just so that we don't scratch the car or do whatever else to it. So we're going to start by getting basically all the mats back in now, getting the brake boost in, getting the ABS lines in, neatening up, cleaning up, getting the windows in, cleaning up the interior, getting the carpet in, motor and box in. That's why the car's on the left now. And yeah, then we'll start with the panel work and the kit work afterwards, and then we'll get to a polish. So you'll see that certain areas of the car has been polished already, like areas now where the beadings are going to go on, where the windows are going to go on. Those areas we just polished up now so that we don't burn into the rubber basically when we do the final polish. So we want to get that done now, and then yeah, I'm going to try and take you through this process as far as possible, and then stay tuned for the rest of the video so you guys can see the end product. Cheers, guys. Okay, so front is on of the vehicle. She looks on. We've got the correct clips in place. This is actually the wrong clip. Supply fit, but I'll get the correct ones in place. You'll see there's one hole missing here on this side here for the spoiler clips. That's gonna get in. The fender is just basically placed loose at this point in time, so I'm gonna get the door on, line the door up, motors in. We've got all the new bottles in. We need to clean up on this side here, but I'm gonna leave that for so next day. We'll detail the vehicle detail for us. Interior of the vehicle is in already, so we're just going to start closing up now on the cluster. We've done extensive wiring repairs. We found a lot of burnt wires basically on the side of the car. We've repaired that. We've repaired underneath the dash and gone through as far as possible. So we're going to start closing this guy up. The back of the car is in already, right, and we're just going to start neatening up the boot area. We're just waiting for the rest of the carpets to come back. Boot will go on, prestige panel, back bumper, windows are on nicely. You'll see there's no warpages on the beadings, but this is actually in nice and firm. So yeah, let's get the rest on. We got the new panel liners in, and yeah, let's see how far we can go. Okay, so guys, so as you've seen, we actually, you know that we're assembling the vehicle, right? Sorry, statement, but yeah. So there's certain areas that we haven't put on, and certain places we actually put on, and I actually want to take back off again. But this is the reason why we haven't put it on, right? Is that I actually wanted to polish up here before the item goes on. So here we know that in the fate your fate indicators goes on, but I just want to try and get it polished up and capped before the indicator goes on, because what I'd like to do is get a nice clean polish around the rubber gasket or sealer on there. So what I'm doing now, I'm using one of these Sonex. So I'm using the Cutmax 6, right? This is one of the Sonex products, and we're going to be using a lot of these products on there. So I actually wanted Lebo to be here because he is a key guy, but I don't really think I can let this guy out. And it also shows that if you know what product to use from Connect. You can actually do certain things yourself. So this will help your own viewers as well. So this is something that you can do as well with your own vehicle. You don't have to be restoring a car to do this, right? Because obviously you for one Phillips screw. So I don't have any polishing lights or anything like that. I'm just giving it. By all means, I'm not detailing the car. I'm not the polisher. I'm not the detailer. I'd like to learn it, but I'm not anywhere near there. So what I want to do is I actually want to give enough room, and I think I'm actually going to go further down here and further down here. Just because the kit is going to come over here, we're able to get to this idea. But once the kit is on, and even if you come with a small polisher, you're going to battle to get into the corners basically. So you're going to find your way fighting it. But it'll actually be nice if we have this polished up. This guy polished up here. When the kit comes on, you've got a nice sealer, or you've got a nice break between the two panels. Okay. So again, I am no detailer, but I'm just doing the basics. Okay. So this is quite a lofty tool here. I've got it on its lowest speed. Let me just try a little bit higher on the speed. I'm not going to give him some height. So when we do put the indicator on, they don't have to get anywhere near it. Let me try that one motion to see what I did. Okay, so I just read the level quickly now. It's like I told you, cutting polish. It's not gonna learn. But anyway, so this is basically just a cutting component, right? So this is the first stage of cutting into the paint. But what I'm gonna do is now I'm just gonna give it a rough cut because this here sits underneath the kit panel and underneath. So I'm not in any way in charge of it for now. So yeah, so just change to the tone as well. Now just gonna get into the groove, right? So this is before the whole gonna come and do what you like. Just gonna get into the corner. So we're gonna get ready to put the kit on as well. So we're doing the first cut over there. So this is actually what what's happening. I'm going to swap over pairs. Now back to my green bed for the wider area. So I'm not going to big patch of the fender. I'm just going to keep it on. And then when we do the doors, the back fender I'll still do with us. When we do the doors, I will move over to the But that I'll actually ask the reps to come in and load it for. Because that's not more detail, more precise if I can call it that. basically I'm gonna go through with a cut wall rub, and then I'll just get some polish and just give it a good polish before we start operating. Hey, what's up, guys? So, I think the time has finally come. Um, we have finally done with this guy, and I think a lot of people have been waiting for it, right? But this here is the Zenova Red Shadowline that we've been busy with. So, just to give you guys a quick rundown of the vehicle and just a short history of it and how far we are now, right? So, firstly, before we get on, the car is about 95% done. She's still in polishing form at the moment. We've just done with the body. We've still got to do the blacks. That's why you'll see that the 325i, we've got a 325 IS badge on it because it is kitted up with the MTech 2 kit. So the IS badge, the BMW emblem at the back, the toe covers are still not on. And there's one or two small things that's missing on the interior that we're actually waiting for still. But we're finally done with the vehicle. And once we've done with that polishing, she's got the third cut on it, but we had a couple of touch-ups here and there to do, and you can see like in the grooves here, we still have to touch up quite a bit. Not touch up, it's more like polish up. In here, there's some swirl marks on the roof now that we can see at night. And we've just got to sort it out and get the teething issue sorted out. However, okay, so that's basically where we stand here now, right? We're still going to go through the vehicle. I'll take you through it. Let's just touch base on where the vehicle started off again. So this car was brought us by one of our customers. We haven't met him. The guy actually came through, I think with AutoSong Gazino with a pool, and that was a referral. The customer was based in KZN. So it's for the guys out of South Africa. That's another province. That's another city. Car came through to us, but it came through just on the rollback. We didn't even meet the customer or anything of the sort. And he just said, listen, the guy's coming in for a respray. So I think it was a Wednesday we spoke to him. By Thursday, Friday, the car arrived. Offloaded the car, but we said this was in October, November. And he said, listen, we're not touching this vehicle until January, but the car can come through. Got the guy in, and we waited. Then we started the general phase, right? So we said, okay, fine, we're going to do a general respray on the vehicle. Done the respray on the vehicle, not done the respray, we started prepping down and we started filing down certain sections of the car. And well, the car, it's a very good car. It was repainted before. The color was an overhead. I think the original color is an overhead. it was repainted before. There was a lot of work done onto the vehicle. But as we started digging deeper, and in the previous videos, you guys can see, I've shown you guys what we've picked up on the vehicle, and it looks like the side of the car was side smashed. So it could have been spinning the vehicle and hit something where this section all the way from here till here was built up with body filler. So the lines on the car were wrong. It was a mission for us to get this side straight. So you guys can see in the previous videos of the vehicle that we spent a lot of time on this line. We spent so much of time that even when I done the video, when the car was painted, right, that was still in the booth. We'd pull the car out of the booth, and we could only find certain issues on a glossy finish, on a glossy color, right? So I think our first check coat was a primer coat. Then we actually gave it a red dummy coat just so we could see, but we didn't even pick up the issues that we picked up then. It's only when we applied color that we actually picked up those issues. And we had to redo all of that again. So we spent a week on it, on getting the line correct, pulling the dents out even further. And it was a train smash, but we had to do it that way there. And I think in that video, I still mentioned to you guys that I'm not going to do like a sequence video to show you, okay, this is how far we are with the car and this is how far we've come. I stopped at a certain point and I said, okay, fine, now I've actually recorded a whole lot of footage and this is the end result of it. So the other, not issue, but the other thought or crazy thought was, okay, fine, it's an overhead. We want to do a color change on this vehicle. It's not a pedigree vehicle, if I can call it that. So it's not it's not an Evo 1, it's not an Evo 2. It is a Shadowline. My customer is not going to sell the vehicle again. So do we keep the color Zenova red? That was one of the questions. And Zenova, if anybody knows, Zenova red and Calypso red are very they're very tricky colors, right? So you've got to learn to love the color, if I can call it that. So you'll find that guys that know about Calypso, once they love it, they love it. But to get to that point of loving that color is another story. So we pondered with ideas and we said, okay, fine. As Zenova red, Calypso at that point in time was off the cards. Let's look at maybe a henna red, because the interior, okay, this has got black interior. There's no headrest at the back. But the Evo ones did come with henna red. But then again, the interior would have to change because the Evo ones came with henna red and Ubicaro, as far as I know. I can be wrong if there was henna red with black interior as well, but I know most of them came with Ubicaro. And another with henna red also, you got to get the color right. You got to get the orange pop out in it. And he kept on saying, no, I want the bright red. I want the brilliant red. So we went with brilliant red, even though it's not, I won't say it's a common color, but it's a lovely color. And we prepped the car, we got the car lined up, and we painted it. We've had endless issues. We've had issues with the kit. I've had issues with the door card kit where on the floor, we done a fitment on the car, but I couldn't tighten it up because the previous kit had mismatched clips on it, and we put the clips on and lined it up, and it looks fairly okay, and well, it looks good. And you put the car together, you put the door on the car, you put the panel on the car, and there's an issue. So we've redone the kit on this side here to get it to line up and get it to match up as close as possible and as tight as possible. The front spoiler there's a problem with the spoiler. So this here was a spoiler actually supplied by the client. It came in the car with the car. It's a good spoiler, but when they're on the floor, they look good. The only time you really see them is when they are on the vehicle and you're trying to fit, and then you find the issues. So there's a little bit of an issue on this cap here, of which I've got to try and manipulate. Unfortunately, I've got to manipulate it. There is no brand new from the agents. Maybe it's on back order, but there hasn't been this year so far. If we do find a so-called good one in second-hand form, the only time we're going to know is when we do a proper fit on it and we see that it lines up 100% or it's actually not going to line up. And it's a gamble. You're paying 8 to 10,000 rand or 5 to 10,000 rand for spoilers, and you're not too sure if it's 110%. So I've got to manipulate that one there and see how best to get it to fit with either clips, bolts, or nuts. There's not a drop of Sikaflex on this car. There's not a drop of silicone. There's not a piece of double-sided tape on this vehicle. And I promise you it's worth it.
So, having said that, let's go through the vehicle quickly. The paint came out really good. There is a couple of touch-ups that we've got to do. The Sonex team have been working basically 4.5 days on the vehicle on polishing. So in the video, you can see us working on the vehicle on a cut phase. So we've just managed to come in and polish in certain areas. We didn't polish the white panels because we wanted the final cut polish to get done if we scratch the vehicle and get that out. So first Matsepo, I think it was Matsepo that actually grabbed the car and she went through, or it was both Matsepo and Tombi, the two ladies from Sonex. They grabbed the vehicle and they started going through the car. And Lebo came afterwards on his second and third cut, and he spent another day and a half on the vehicle. So he still has some touch-ups to do on the vehicle, and you'll see how critical they are. The vehicle hasn't even been washed after polish as yet, right? Because I was actually excited now to get the video out because I was becoming a little bit irritated by not being able to show you guys how the vehicle came out. So let's go through the car. Let's check the car out. I told you guys quickly, I don't have the MTech stickers on it. I don't have the badge on it. I don't have the toes on it. I don't have the 325 IS badge on it. That'll come on once we've done with all the polishing and so on like that. But let's go through the vehicle quickly. Before we do that, also remember, this is not a restored vehicle. It's not a restored vehicle. It's not a nut and bolt vehicle. It's a car that came in for a respray, right? We don't have an open budget on it. So for example, the doors, you'll see, okay, you got to disclose it a bit hard because we've had to use aftermarket door rubbers on them. Besides for that, we've used everything else from BM. The guys from Zen Parts have supported us quite a bit. You'll see them coming in at night. I went live a couple of times on TikTok and we were working at night. They rock up 9 o'clock at night with last minute parts that we didn't foresee, that we didn't see that we needed, or we saw the parts were good, and when we physically looked at them, there was a defect on them, and we called them up last minute. And Shane and Ijaz, I must mention the two of them, Shane and Ijaz, you pick up the phone, you phone them, they rock up, they make it happen. Wuka by Crook, they make it happen. So the number is at the bottom, Zen Parts, you guys need to contact them. This is regarding all your parts for your E30s. Wherever you go, they will support you. Then we worked at night, we had support from them, but it was actually a blast working on this vehicle, right? And the next vehicle that we're actually going to carry on that same process with and that same vibe with is the Calypso car, and I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of it as well. That car just came out of polishing, but it's first stage polish. So let's go through this vehicle quickly. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the color firstly, the preference of the vehicle. You guys will also notice that we got the wheel on the car, right? So there's no adapters on this vehicle. The wheel that we sourced for this car is from a 325i Sport. So it's the Style 5 or the BBS full, not the 5-wheel wheel. Put that on, but I didn't. The client is actually going to have his wheel repainted. By the time I got the wheel in and we wanted to send the wheel in, the guys told us that we got to wait 6 weeks basically for a color change on the wheel. So we just made a decision to say, you know what, the wheel is in good condition. Put the wheel on the car and we'll get that change afterwards. So this is actually the original. On the lip, you'll see the original color of the wheel. And the center of the wheel has actually got like a darker shade of gray. So for me personally, I really think that once the wheel goes to its original silver look, it'll just pop the color out and the wheel will pop out from the car as well. At this point in time, it looks a bit dull. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's also another look that we can actually chat about. Let me know what you guys think about the color, about the paint job. And if there's something I've got to change or if something that you guys see, let me know about that. The black, we've still got to go through all of this. This is polish on it, so I've got to get it cleaned up. The car has not been washed. You'll still see that there's some polish marks on the wheels. The tires haven't even been done. But just excited to show you guys how it came out. Okay, so here we go. So there's still a couple of marks that we're going to get through. Right, and there is a couple of swirl marks now that we can see under the light. But remember, our lighting is very bad because the detail center is not yet set up. So I think we got the color right. I think we got the polish right. And I'm happy taking this video at night. So you can see here on the black, this is still part of the polish marks on here. That's got to get cleaned up. This is actually part of polish and not it was actually on it. This is all polish stain marks here. So I've got to get that cleaned up on it, and then this is what I was talking about with the rim. So you guys can actually see the shine on it. Sorry. So I've actually had to come through and move the showroom around just so I can get a decent shot at the vehicle under the proper lighting. Otherwise, on camera, the car actually came out pinkish. So this is what I was talking about with the kit. I think she sits good. You'll see, I think we still got to get a polish out there. So it's small nitty gritties and we nitpicking on it. We're still polishing around there. You'll see I still got tape, masking tape around there. So I've got to get the air ducts back in. That came late from BMW, so I'll get the car back on the lift just to do our final checks on the vehicle. On the interior, I think we're all good on the interior. There's a triangle missing on this side here. The sunroof clip is missing. I'm waiting for an order back from BMW. But remember, this car, oh yeah, and I'm waiting for these clips here. So I haven't put this panel back on here because I'm waiting for these clips to come back from BMW. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it is this cover over here. So we've had to use the aftermarket rubbers. Unfortunately, they've got the corners in because BMW does not have any recall on they don't have any stock of the original door rubbers, and the other ones were shot. We're not going to use that back. So this is how the car got put together. Anyway, I was saying to you earlier, not earlier, just now, before I moved to the passenger side door, that this car is the same car that we done the floorboard on. So we done the rear floorboard and the front floorboard. That was totally rotten. So in order for us to do that, we had to strip, as you guys can see in the previous video, in the previous videos, everything was stripped out besides for the dashboard. The dashboard was the only thing left in place. The carpet was out, the underflooring was out, the doors were out, obviously the door cards were out, every single window was out of the vehicle. The sunroof came out. We've gotten to paint in the sunroof properly. Let me show you guys the engine bay quickly. I haven't got, so I didn't do any electroplating on the vehicle, and we chose not to because it's not a resto vehicle. The car came in for the color change, and once you start with electroplating, you start on the top and you've got to follow on right through. So I must still get the one sticker, the brilliant red sticker for it. We're not finished with the polishing on the inside, so I'll get the headlight covers back in there. But she came out quite decent. I'm waiting for these covers to come through, and we'll do a cleanup on the shock mounts. Let's see how we can see this bonnet at this angle. So the car came out quite good. So my point in showing you guys this here, you can see the bolts and nuts all color coded. There's no real sign of a color change being done on the car. So the rubber must will come back on here. That'll close up properly here. But there's no real sign that the car has had a color change. And that's what we would like to look for. That's what we'd like to go for. So we've got the right clips in the right places. We've got the right pipes in the right places. And I think she came out good. Okay, so I had to shuffle all the vehicles around there. This is still our baby. That's the next, not the next build. This is actually the next build. So this is the Calypso vehicle that's done with polishing. and I think she came out good. Zeppa spent a lot of time on this car, and she's going to be a lot involved in the videos going forward. So I mustn't do too much on this vehicle now because I'm still going to do a full video on it. Non-BM related, but yeah. So anyway, guys, that is it for the Zenova Red build. Let me know what you guys think. I hope this content is a little bit different because we didn't show you snippets of the build. We tried to break it up in the middle and showed you guys the end product now. Let me know what you guys think about the video firstly, about the build secondly, and yeah, let's get the next builds on the way, and I hope you guys enjoy. Cheers, guys.